Hello everyone. Okay, on my first lecture video, we have discussed method of irrigation application and the way we are going to choose the best irrigation application method based on our local condition. Now, on this lecture video, we are going to discuss on surface irrigation method. So, when we say surface irrigation method, the techniques we use gravitational forces to apply water to irrigable fields or agricultural fields is known as surface irrigation application method. So, this method have different application techniques like furrow irrigation, basin irrigation techniques, and border are the common one. So surface irrigation methods in these techniques, water is applied by gravity across the soil surface, It accounts about 90% of the whole irrigated area in the world, and water is applied to the field in either by controlled or uncontrolled way or manner. And when we say controlled manner, water is applied from the head ditch, and guided by corrugations, furrows, border, or ridges. In uncontrolled way, mill flooding is the one things. So in these charts can identify that the surface irrigation techniques. So among surface irrigation application techniques, let's come to basin irrigation method. In basin irrigation, water is flooded in wider areas. It is ideal for irrigating rice. The area is normally flat. A very high stream size is introduced into the basin so that rapid movement of water is obtained in this irrigation method. The opportunity time difference between the upward and the downward indices are limited. If these conditions properly not fulfilled and some faults occurred, our performance will be reduced, or the amount of yield we consider to get from irrigable land will be reduced if the conditions or their suitability is not properly selected. So among that, if poor land preparation is there, it will be reduced about 10 to 20%. And if the choice of soil type is not proper or not fit the conditions, there will be subtract about 5 to 10%. And fixed irrigation schedule will be reduced 10 to 20% of our performance. Okay, let's come to basin layout and construction. Basin layout refers to things. The first one is to the shape and the size of the basin, and the second one is to the shape and the size of bunds. Let's come to shape and the size of basin. The shape and the size of basins are mainly determined by the land slope, the soil type, the available stream size, the required depth of irrigation application, and the farming practice. The basin width is the main limitation on the width of a basin is the land slope. The land slope. If the land slope is steep, the basin should be narrow. Otherwise, too much earth movement will be needed to obtain level basins. And there are around 3 other factors which may affect basin widths. This include the depth of fertile soil, the method of basin construction, agricultural practice are the main factors. So the approximate value for the maximum basin terrace width is stated in this table. As you see, you are going to identify only the slope of your land or agricultural land slope. Then you can use this standard table and make the width of your basin in this range. For example, if the slope of your field is 0.5, the width of the basin will be in the range between 20 to 35 meters. So this is the common table you can use while you are going to lay out or design your basin. The other is basin size. The size of basin depends on the slope, on the soil type, and available water flow to the basin. The relationship between soil type, stream size, and size of the basin is given in below table. So by identifying the stream size, the soil type, then you can identify the proper or recommendable size of your basin. Okay, let's come to the second step, which focus on shape and dimension of bands. Bands are small earth embankments which contain irrigation water within the basins. Sometimes it's called ridge, dike, or leaves. The height of bands is determined by the irrigation depth and the freeboard. When you say freeboard, it is the height above the irrigation depth to be sure that the water will not overtop the band. So in design and construction of bands, we not only consider the irrigation depth, we have to add also the freeboards. That means we have to sure or confidence that water will not overtop the bands. So band may be grouped into two. The first one is temporary band and the second one will be permanent bands. So temporary bands are normally 60 to 120 centimeter wide at the base, and it have height of 50 to 13 centimeters above the original ground surface, including freeboard of 20 centimeters. Surrounding fields on which annual crops are grown. These bands are rebuilt each season and used to subdivide the various fields further. So, as you saw from this figure, the temporary band size is not similar with that of permanent bands. So as you see from this figure, the height of temporary bands, including freeboard, is around 15 to 13 centimeter, and its bottom width is around 60 to 120 in centimeter. When we come to permanent bands, they have a base width of 130 to 116 centimeter and height of 60 to 90 centimeters when constructed. The settled height will be 40 to 15 centimeters, and these bands are mostly used in rice cultivation, where the same crop is planted on the same fields year after year. And these are used as passes in the rice fields as well. So as you see from this figure, the permanent band's size is not similar with that of the temporary bands. So while you are going to construct or while you are designing your bands, you can use these recommended sizes based on your local condition or based on your priori investigation. Okay. When we come to basing constructions, in basing construction, we have to follow around 3 basic steps. The first one is setting out. The second step will be forming the bands. Thirdly, we are going to smoothing the land within the basin. So let's see what we are going to do in each step. Under step 1, before construction can begin, the location of the basin and bands must be set out on the ground, like by using pegs, steering lines, or chalk powder to mark the lines of the bands. On flat land basins may be square or rectangular in shape. On sloping or undulating land basins, it may be regular in shape and tracing recurred. So this figure shows the step we have to follow in constructing or layouting of panels. Okay, on second step, after we setting out, we are going to forming a bands. Both temporary and permanent bands can be formed by hand labor or by animal or tractor powered equipment. When soil is gathered from an area close to the band, a borrow furrow is formed, as well as a useful piece of equipment for forming band is an A-frame. This A-frame suitable for drawing by animals has blades 20 centimeters deep and 2 meters long, spaced 1.5 meter apart at the front and 13 centimeters apart at the rear, as you see from this figure. So by installing this equipment on animal drawing or farming tractor, we can construct bands. Okay, thirdly, we are going to smoothing the land after we make a bands. This can be the most difficult part of basin construction and involves very careful leveling of the land within each basin. This can be done by hand or by a tractor drawn land plane depending on the size of the basin. On sloping land, where terraces are constructed, leveling is achieved by moving soil from the upper part of the slope to the lower part. Care is needed when filling in the borrow furrow to ensure the band height is maintained so that overtopping is avoided. Irrigating basin. There are 2 methods to supply irrigation water to basins. The first one is direct method and the second is by cascade method. Okay, when we say the direct method, irrigation water is laid directly from the field channel into the basin through siphon or band breaks. While in cascade methods, on sloping land where terraces are used, the irrigation water is supplied to the highest terrace and then allowed to flow to a lower terrace and so on. Okay, first, while I introduce irrigation application techniques, every irrigation application method or thing have its own advantage and disadvantage. So let's see the main advantage and disadvantage of basin irrigation method. So its advantage is crops not weeded. It's more flexible in application than far on the border and feasible on a range of soil infiltration rates. And the main disadvantage of this irrigation method is relatively high flow rate required, and construction may be expensive and reasonably labor intensive, and significant earthworks may increase the cost. So, relative to the other irrigation method, this irrigation method have disadvantage and disadvantage. Okay, based on our local condition, the basin area may be small or large. So, to say the basin area have to be small or large, we have to identify first our local condition, then we make it either small or large. So, to make it small, the first condition, slope of the land should be steep. Secondly, soil should be sandy. Thirdly, if the stream size to the basin is small. And fourthly, if the required depth of irrigation application is small, as well as if field preparation is done by hand or animal, our basin area should be small. Otherwise, if the slope of the land is gentle or flat, if the soil is clay, and if stream size to the basin is large, and if the required depth of irrigation application is large and the field preparation is mechanized, our basin area should be large. So by following this condition, you can fix the size of your irrigation fields. So this is all about basin irrigation method. I hope you can get some pointers on this idea. Furtherly, you can read lecture notice and other supportive materials till I come back with other lecture video. Thank you very much. Stay home and save your life. Thank you.